this holiday season. To have the stuffing scared out of you. Thanksgiving.
And we're back. The Thanksgiving episode of Scam Podcast. That's a little intro there from, have you ever seen the movie Grindhouse? I mean, that's something me and Malcolm send to each other every Thanksgiving. It was a fake trailer they made for this Grindhouse movie that Tarantino and Richard Rodriguez, I believe, was the other director. Eli Roth made a trailer for them to put like in between the two movies, and that was one of them. It's basically like Halloween, but it's Thanksgiving, like the Halloween movies, but Thanksgiving. And there's some raunchy stuff. You can find it yourself on YouTube. Just type in Thanksgiving movie trailer.
Yeah, I sent it to this guy.
Some stuff we couldn't show on YouTube. Malcolm, you're on mute, by the way.
Oh, am I?
Yep.
I'm dumb.
Still on mute.
You got me muted.
There we go. Now we're good. That might have been my bad.
What you're saying is not important. No, I sent that trailer to this guy. He's like, thanks. That's 3 minutes I'll never get back. I'm like, you know, that's not a real movie, right? He goes, no.
I feel like they should make it.
I'd watch it. I mean, if it's along the lines of Machete or whatever, Machete.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing. So Machete is another one of the fake trailers in the movie. They turned into a real movie.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And there's another one. I can't remember what it is, but there's another fake trailer that they make into a movie. And I didn't even realize that was one of them until later on, but I don't remember what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. Another one in there. It's called Hobo with a Shotgun. And it's like, yeah. So in the fake trailer, it's not the same as the Machete. They used Danny Trejo's in the trailer, and then they turn it into the movie with Danny Trejo.
I gotta look that up. That old trailer.
Well, the other one is, that one's great. It's like he's like, "Where's my wife? Where's my daughter?" And he's just like in like some river with both of them naked. He's just banging.
The best part of that whole movie, dude, it was when the dude's standing behind the pillar with the two shotguns, and he like wraps them around the pillar. It's like there's no fucking way you could do that.
Well, also, Cheech, is it Cheech or Chong? Yeah, it's Cheech Marin is his name,
Cheech
right?
Marin,
he plays like a priest, and he's like, not again. Like he's some retired fucking Mexican cartel hitman that came out of retirement.
God, those movies are great.
But yeah, the other one was called Hobo with a Shotgun. And in the trailer, they made it into a real movie, but in the trailer, it's not the same like actors or anything. But it's like there's like a robbery going on next to this pawn shop, and it's like some homeless guy, and he hears the robbery, and he looks in the pawn shop window, and there's a shotgun, and it's just him looking back and forth for like 30 seconds. He's like trying to decide, and he finally goes in and buys the shotgun and like stops the robbery. But then the whole trailer is just him blowing people away with a shotgun. So
I don't know if we talked about it in the podcast, but did you ever hear about the hobo with the hatchet?
Yeah, we talked about it on the podcast. Yeah. Kai. Yeah.
Kai.
Smash. So yeah, that was a. I don't remember what even in reference how he came up on the show, but we did talk about him. Anyways, so it is Thanksgiving week. Malcolm is coming home to Florida tomorrow.
Oh yeah, hopefully I don't get stuck there. That would suck.
Oh yeah, with all these lockdowns.
I doubt it though.
Yeah, Florida's not shutting down.
Yeah.
They don't care.
That's what I appreciate about DeSantis, where he's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
and it's true. I mean, like the whole economy is tourism, dude. And there's no tourism, so what the fuck?
Yeah, Disney actually raised its occupancy limit the other day.
I was thinking about going to Disney. Like, fuck it, dude.
Yeah, it's 30% capacity. It's hard to get in right now though.
Why?
Because I don't think you can do what do you call it? Main gate? Like employees can't get people in for free like normal.
Bullshit.
Dude, they're at 30% capacity and they've been packed. They've been full up every single day.
Yeah, because all the Floridians are like, fuck, there's no tourists, no lines. I'm in, dog.
Yeah.
Take the risk.
It's interesting because DeSantis.
Do you have to socially distance on rides?
I don't know how it works. No idea. But DeSantis specifically, if you don't know, he's the governor here in Florida. He seems like he's made the wrong choice every single time, but it just keeps working out for him. Like he keeps doing. He keeps saying like this is what's going to happen, and then the opposite happens, but then it works out somehow. Like he was like, "Oh, COVID, it's not a big deal. We're not going to enforce restrictions," and then obviously all the shit happened out in March and April, and then he did the full lockdown, like after everyone else was already starting to lift restrictions, and then the unemployment thing, he botched that, and then on like in June, he was
that
like, "Look, our
unemployment thing
numbers."
was fucked.
Yeah. And then in June, all the numbers were super low because everyone had been staying home. And he's like, "Look, we don't have any case. We did it right here in Florida. Like we're basically COVID proof or whatever." And then like a week later, after the restrictions, Florida's like one of the worst in the country, and it's but
You know what's crazy is the unemployment in Florida was like so horrible. It was like 250 a week or something crazy like that.
125 a week, my friend.
So instantly, since the election, 10 hours on the new minimum wage is more than the fucking unemployment, which is nuts. I mean, because if you're on unemployment, they got to pay minimum wage, right?
I guess. I don't know, man. But the way it's going to work is it's over a 10-year increments for Florida. So it'll go up like 75 cents every year or some shit like that. But
they got shafted then.
Yeah. That's what I said. I was like, by the time this gets caught up, they're gonna have to do it again.
They're gonna be under, yeah. They're gonna be back under it.
But yeah, like the problem they were having with the unemployment system though was right. They had a like this website they used. I mean, it was crazy, but the website they used,
if you could use it,
well, that's what I was gonna say. It was only designed to have 50 people on the website at one time.
Yeah,
so they went from that.
Dude, these systems they're using are archaic, dude.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, I got to give props to Colorado, dude, because their government, man, they got it down, dude.
Yeah, it seems like all those states right around there have it under control.
Except
they also
California.
have, yeah. Well, I was gonna say it's because they have that area is a lot of land and
governor,
a lot smaller population too. I mean, that's a lot of people in California. So
yeah, it's a whole nother fucking.
Yeah, that governor, I don't know Newsom or whatever. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know what's everyone.
Dude, him and Pelosi just keep fucking winning, dude. It's just like. I tell you what, I don't give a fuck about voter fraud and the likes. How do these people keep winning in Congress, dog? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we talked about this, was it 2 episodes ago, where we're like, Mitch McConnell might be the worst person on earth, but he wins in a landslide every time.
I don't understand. Like, when you're 80, do you want to be in Washington? I mean, what the fuck is going on down there? It's so good. You're already rich as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching something.
At that point, you just go, oh, they are fucking psychos. They are power hungry, crazy people.
Well, I watched. I don't want to get too heavy into politics on this one, but I did watch something about how the culmination of all your years. That's what ends up happening. Like the system is flawed because you're like expected to not take office until 70, 80 years old because they want you to be like underlings for 30 years. So it's like where normal people are retiring is when you finally get your shot to be a fucking senator or a governor or a fucking
Biden's president's almost dead.
I know. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. It's just a system that they use is just like, oh, that person's too young. You don't get started to be.
Yeah, they just shit on you because they want to know that you're going to suck that power dick. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Just like AOC or all of her ideas are so crazy. She gets into Congress and they're fucking. It's like, yo, what happened, dude? You were saying all this good shit. Now you're calling fucking Pelosi Mama Bear.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I feel like I don't want to talk about politics. I feel like we're even more divided than we were a couple weeks ago. But I will say this: they did like yesterday.
I actually feel better. I'm like, it's fucking over. It's done.
That's true. That's true.
I'm watching all these political shows on YouTube. Their view count just fucking plummet, dude.
Nah, I don't think that's true. You keep saying that, but I don't think that's true.
Everybody, dude, all of them are down.
I think it's been that makes
left,
no
right.
sense.
They're all down.
I think this has been the most controversial election in last 50 years.
I think everybody's just like Biden won, they'll figure it out. Trump's crazy. Okay, great.
You say that, but there's a lot of people that still are convinced that Trump is going to be president in January. So I guess we'll see what happens. First things first, let's read these some of these emails we got. We only got a couple. Let me double check. I actually didn't check them before I dropped on here. Yeah, we got a couple of them. The first one, I'll tell you what, last week's emails were fantastic, but the one that really fucked me up, Malcolm, and I texted you about this a little bit. That guy talking about the fucking aliens thing. I've been going down this fucking wormhole of fucking.
What did he say again? The guy with the aliens?
He was just like, "How come no one's freaking out about the fact that they found a fucking spaceship?" You know. And I was just, I don't know why, it just stuck in my head. And I've been watching all these stupid ancient civilizations. I even watched some of that ancient alien stuff which is
I love
horseshit. That's
I love
complete
that.
horseshit, but it is entertaining. Yeah, it is.
It is. Oh, so entertaining.
The guy with the crazy fucking hair. I don't know. He's been around forever. I don't know.
Proof there wasn't aliens at the First Supper.
Exactly.
It's like, he was on Friedman's podcast. He's pretty. He actually is a smart dude. He just like,
Yeah.
yo, they're gonna pay me. I'll say some wild shit.
Yeah, yeah. It's
What is he? What was he? He's on Friedman. He's like, if you see a deer, and
yeah, because he's Greek, so he has like a little bit of an accent.
he goes, if you see a deer and the deer sees a man in a business suit or a bear, who's the deer gonna be more scared of? And he goes, he should be afraid of the guy in the business suit because maybe he wants to develop the land. And he goes, that's kind of like aliens. I'm like, okay, dude.
That's a good impression.
I know, dude.
The one I saw, they were talking about like you
That
like
fucking Doc hair, dude. Fuck.
yeah, I know. He legitimately has like crazy mad scientist hair. But the one I saw that was similar to what you were just saying, he was talking about the pyramids, and he was saying how, there's not any direct proof that aliens made the pyramids, but there's also not any proof they didn't make the pyramids. What are you talking about? That's exactly what he said. I was like, what the fuck are you talking
That
about?
pyramid shit is nuts though, because what is it? Cleopatra is closer to us than she is to the pyramids of Giza. So there's a big gap there. And they've
Keep
never
repeat-
found any tombs or
keep-
anything in the Giza pyramids.
You keep repeating things we said like 2 episodes.
I know, but people need to know. Have you
That's
listened
true.
to Rogan?
Yeah.
That's all that motherfucker is a running reel, dude.
That's true. But the thing that's crazy to me about the pyramids is, speaking of Joe Rogan, I saw he had some archaeologist guy on there, because I've been going down this rabbit hole big time. But one of the guys that was talking about is with the Sphinx. There's what's called like the Sphinx temple right in front of the Sphinx, and I sent this to you in the pictures. The bricks they use are just one giant slab, and they're like 20-ton fucking bricks, and they're made into like a temple. And they're like, first of all, you realize that this whole area was sand, right? So like, how the fuck were they moving these? They're like, even with our technology now, with like heavy equipment, we wouldn't be able to move this shit. So how the fuck were these people doing it? And then the guy on it was some scientist, right?
Let's just go slaves, man. Fucking slaves, dude. Tons of slaves.
Mass slaves. Yep. Well, and
It's like if you think they were moving those bricks and there's no guns around, you think they just kill all the fucking leaders?
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, exactly. So that's it. All right, we'll get to that. We'll get to that part. But so with this thing, the archaeologist guy who heard different people's theories and stuff, he had the one guy was like, I challenge you to come down here and look at this and tell me it's 12,000 years old like everyone says, because it's not. I can prove to you in 30 minutes that it's much older or whatever. So the guy goes down there thinking, there's a crock of shit. And the guy proves to him, like, within 30 minutes, he's like, look, he goes, XYZ. I don't remember exactly what it was. But he does like XYZ. So it couldn't have been here. When this was built was before the Ice Age. So explain to me how that's possible. Like it was a whole different civilization than the Egyptians. But anyways, but what you were saying about the slaves goes to Graham Hancock was on, I think he was on Lex Friedman talking about the Aztecs. And they were showing like how they built like this gigantic temple on this rock cliff, and the believed explanation is that it was 80,000 slaves that they mass killed after. So he was like, where do you even keep 80,000 slaves? Like, where do you put them? Where do you put 80,000 slaves? They're like
the bodies.
No, like just like where do you keep them at night? Like they didn't build it in one day. You know what I mean? Like where do you put them?
And how many people are doing the killing? I mean, at one point, the guy's like, yo, I've cut off like 10,000 heads, bro. I need a fucking break, dude.
Yeah, for real, man. I'm about to cut my own head off over here, But so the other thing is like you said, where do they put the bodies when they're done? Where do they get 80,000 slaves? Like, where do you home, feed? And he's like, you got to understand, these people were like in like civilizations believed to be like a couple hundred people in one area. So it's like, how the fuck, where do you get 80,000? How did they capture 80,000 people to make them slaves?
What do you keep them in, and how do you threaten them? With a fucking
Exactly.
sword?
Yeah. Well, one thing they said was like, if you bring them out one at a time to kill them, but I'm like, yeah, but so where are they keeping
Yeah.
the rest of them? I don't know. Anyway, so that's a whole different.
We got an Australian shepherd that kind of just runs around them.
Yeah.
And they pretty much stay in line. They're really afraid of the dog.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. You ever
also-
did you watch that baffling fucking video or whatever? 7 hours of baffling.
Yeah. No, I watched about an hour of it, and I was like, all right, my
Oh, you
brain
got to
is
do it in
broken.
sessions, dude. You're like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
fucking. And he just puts up the picture and goes, explain that. Explain it. It's just there's even some shit like with metal, and you're like,
Yeah, well, that's
he's
what-
like, what is this?
Yeah, that's what starts in the first hour. He was like, there's no, like, it was some kind of tool they found. And he was like, we don't even know what this is. Like, now. Like, we're looking at it right now. We don't know what it's used for. We don't know how they made it. We don't know where
Yeah.
it came from.
The
Because it was like this, it
Go
was like some kind of like, it looked like a scalpel. It was like a little thing they used to like chisel with. And he was like, there's no like source of this metal to make this within 1,000 miles of this place. So it's like someone must have brought them these tools, you know,
Mhm.
whether it was, you know, Europeans or someone from like the Asian continent that we didn't know even existed, you know, at that time. But like, he's like somebody, or he's like, the other theory was like that, you know, people from more advanced civilizations fled and were looking for refuge and then came to this place and become kings because they're like, they know how to fucking survive. You know what I mean? And these
Mhm.
people are hunter gatherers basically. And they're like, oh yeah, well, I know how to make tools and I know how to like cook fish. Like, you know what I mean? So
The best parts, like one of the best parts in there is he shows like, I don't know if it's Aztec or he shows so many places I've never even heard of. Dude.
yeah.
But it's like, he goes, look, they built a pyramid on top of this structure, right? This craftsmanship is dog shit compared to the stuff underneath.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck happened here? They just forgot how to do it.
yeah.
But, you know, his main thing, he starts pushing towards that solar flare shit. But in the video, there's so much good evidence. He's like, one side's rock and one side's black glass.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there was a huge, whatever, dude, fucking huge solar flare that fucking scorched everything instantly.
Yeah. That guy, Randall Carlson, he believes it was an asteroid. And it's interesting because if you look back, he was showing, you know, in different things he's talked about, how basically the entire North American continent was under, you know, 500 feet of ice or whatever it was,
Mhm.
or bigger than any building in California was the way he explained it. And something had to melt that. You know what I
He's
mean? It
got
wasn't
good
climate
voice.
change because, yeah, he does. But they showed like the different temperatures of the earth. And he's like, look, at no time was there any kind of radical change.
That
He's like,
graph,
yeah, he's like, there's nothing to explain how you melt that suddenly. Like, he's like, it didn't just melt over time. He's
Mhm.
like, in a period of like a month, it went from 500 feet of ice to no ice anymore. So he thinks that some kind of asteroid.
He has one of the best arguments against climate change without even saying it.
yeah, exactly.
He shows that graph, and he's like, "Look at this shit. We're worried about 2-3 you know, centigrade or whatever."
Degrees,
He's like,
yeah.
and then he shows this graph. It's like 10 centigrade, 10
Yeah.
centigrade. It's like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like, maybe this shit just does happen here. It just fucking changes. I don't know.
And it seems like all of those times that he's talking about are some kind of mass extinction, whether it's a
Cataclysmic
solar,
event.
yeah, exactly, whether it's an asteroid or a solar flare or something else.
What's up with
I
this
think we're due for
monolith
one.
you sent me? I
Oh
heard
yeah,
I heard it was just some fucking hippie that went out there.
yeah. I didn't see any information about it. Let me see if I can pull it up.
I read it, and they're like, "Yeah, it's probably just art." It's like, "Oh yeah, is this the weather balloon?"
Yeah, in the middle of Utah, like in this.
Yeah, I'm like,
desert?
I don't see some fucking hippie hiking out there digging a fucking 10-foot hole and putting some whatever the
Here,
fuck that
let's
thing
look
is
at it.
receiver.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. So yeah, some people are doing it like some helicopter flyover, and they see this fucking huge structure. Look at that thing; it's 12 feet tall. Like, what the fuck is that thing? They
What
get
if
up
it-
close here.
What if they just kicked it over and the sun went out? Like, oh,
yeah. Oops. I mean, that thing's massive.
but look how
like,
perfectly like the ground hasn't been dug up,
yeah. It looks like it was dropped from space and just
and
stuck
that
right
metal,
there.
dude, is like, it's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a triangle.
Yeah, it's like a triangle.
Oh, that changes everything. It's like
Yeah.
a square.
You're a fucking square. How about that? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't understand how that just shows up. And I mean, another thing is like, how come no one's ever found it before? That makes me think maybe it was some kind of hippie that went and put it out there. Because like, how could no one have found that? You know what I mean? Like, how long does it have to sit there before someone stumbles across it in the
Asshole
desert?
writing this story. He goes, he goes, yeah, regardless of you know, who put it there. On any planet, it's still illegal to plant fucking to put artwork on federal grounds. It's like
we're gonna arrest those aliens.
Yeah.
It's like, we're really excited to meet you guys. Thank you for coming down and visiting Earth. But first things first, you're going to be under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. You know?
That's some shit we would do.
Yeah, right. They're serving them warrants as soon as they come off the ship.
One of the best scenes, dude, is that fucking Mars attacks, dude, like the opening scene.
Yeah, and the dove flies up, he shoots it or whatever, and then
quiet shit, just start blowing people's heads off.
And then it's funny because they trick them again because they're like, "Oh, it was the bird; it scared us." And they're like, "Okay, we'll do it again." They do it again. They start vaporizing people again. Yeah, that movie's underrated. Is it Tim Burton?
It is underrated.
Tim Burton made it, right? It's an underrated movie.
Black's in it.
It's fucking weird. It's a fucking weird movie. There's tons of people. Ving Rhames, Jack Nicholson. Glenn Close, I believe, is in it too. A lot of people. All right, let's get into these emails, and then we have a few other things to talk about before we get out of here. But let's start with these emails. So if you want to email us, guys, it's podcastgame@gmail.com. Email us like these fine people did. Malcolm asked for something last week. Oh, it's hentai, and we did get something on that. I'll get to that in a second.
I was hoping people from India were like, "Yeah, this is a normal life," blah blah. Like, oh, hentai.
Nice, well, that's right. You asked, our Indian listeners to tell us what was going on over in India. But do us a favor, guys. Thank you for all the support on the show. Follow us on Twitter @scam_podcast. Follow us on Instagram @scam_podcast. Twitch scam_podcast. And again, the email is podcastgame@gmail.com. And let's jump right in. So first email here says, I heard you were starting off hot. Heard you were asking about people jerking off to hentai. I don't have any personal experience with it, but in high school, there was a kid that got caught jerking off to anime porn in the school library and got expelled. What was confusing about it is that this
the hentai?
It was fucking cartoons, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the confusing part. What was so confusing about it is that this kid was not someone you would consider weird. He was a pretty popular guy with good grades. Guess he just had a weakness for anime boobs. I don't know.
That is weird, dude. When people jerk off in public, dude, you're just like, I can't wait.
No, that's so weird to me. That's so. Whenever people get arrested for that, or like, that's just so bizarre to me. That like,
wasn't there an NFL rookie that got caught? I think it was a Kansas City Chiefs got caught jerking off, or it was somebody that was on Hard Knocks. He got caught jerking off in his car or something.
Like in the parking lot, like after practice.
Yeah, dude.
See, I don't get that at all. Especially like with being in the NFL. I mean, it can't be that hard, man. Come on. I play for the Chiefs. Like, how hard is that?
Well, I think it was lockdown.
Oh yeah. For the guy from the Seahawks, they tried to sneak that chick in they dressed her in like pads and tried to sneak her in. She's like, God. Yeah, I'm here for practice. So they're like, you're a chick. No, I'm not.
Don't be a fucking sexist.
Yo, that guy got cut. That guy got cut because of that. They cut him after that.
Yeah, no shit.
All right. So on to the next one. Thank you for your email. On to the next one. This is the last one we have. We'll save the rest for next week. But this one says, this is another sex fetish one. I've been hearing a lot about your emails with sex fetishes. Have sounded like people having bad experiences. I dated a girl that introduced me to dressing up and role playing during sex. I don't really have any particular story, but I'll say this: it was awesome. But she
were you in the dress?
It's that same guy. He like emailed back, like finally tried it. All right. So it was awesome, but she went to the extreme with it. The one that really sticks out to me the most is when she bought us Zelda and Link outfits. And we did some in-depth role playing with some terrible scripts that she wrote.
Jesus Christ.
While the sex was amazing, the relationship did not last because she was absolutely crazy. So I guess I would recommend trying anything with your partner because maybe you will like it. And if you don't, at least now you know they are crazy.
Yeah.
Fun for the short term, not so much for the long term, from Chris. So thank you, Chris, for your email. That's the first person that had a good experience with these things.
I mean, it ended the same fucking way, though. I don't get it.
True. That's
you know
true.
What I'm saying?
Yep, that's true.
He's like, I dealt with it for a little bit, and then it got weird. It's
I mean, the thing is, to me, is like, he's right. Like you should try whatever your partner's into, especially if you're going to be like dating that person for a long period of time. But at some point,
he judged the script from Link and Zelda.
Yeah, this is garbage.
Script. Shit started getting weird. The script is horrible.
I'll put on this fucking dress, but you need to punch up this script. You know?
Yeah.
I'll dress like a fairy,
like
but
mid-stroke, like line.
No, he's just like she's down there like blowing him, and then she pops up. She's like, I just don't know my character's inspiration for this. You know, like I need some direction. Like, what am I supposed to be feeling while I'm doing this? Like, I don't know.
I wish I knew Zelda better because I'd be throwing out some crazy reference towards the end. You're going to get the fucking stones. How many times I got to tell you? They killed your brother and your mother.
You know, it's funny. You're just making shit up, but that's probably right. You know? There's been so many games. You're probably right. Now we're gonna get a bunch of people emailing us like that never happened in Zelda. Yeah. So,
did you play Zelda? I didn't play Zelda at all. Everybody was so into it, turned me off. I was like, nah.
I played the original on N64, and I liked that one a lot. But I wasn't really. That was one of the first video games I played. You know what I mean? So I didn't really have a lot of experience with their games. But I'll tell you, I played the new one on the Switch about a year ago. That shit's fucking great. Breath of the Wild. That shit. I mean, that's one of the best games I've ever played. But I mean, that's video games nowadays. Every fucking game is just incredible. You know.
Did you want to fuck Link?
No, I didn't want to fuck Link. I didn't want to fuck Zelda either. I didn't really. She wasn't really.
To be honest, I thought they were the same person.
I feel like that's something a lot of people get confused. Like Zelda's the princess. Like the dude is Link. He's a dude. Yeah.
The only reason I know Link is because of the fucking Smash Bros.
Smash Brothers. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like people playing that for the first time are like, who the fuck is this Link guy? You know, it's like, oh well, that's the Zelda. Yeah, it's Zelda.
Yeah, that's Zelda.
All right, a couple things to talk about here. First things I wanted to bring up. Actually, let me tell. I have a story first. Let me start with that. So it's funny because you were talking about it earlier, but this guy, I was getting some blood work done on yesterday, and this guy's talking to me, right? And he's a white dude. So I want you to picture this. He's a white dude, skinny guy, dreadlocks. Okay, he's head to toe in like blue scrubs. He's got a mask on and stuff because they're doing all the protocol for. The doctor's office and with COVID. So and I've done this a few times. I usually just roll in there. It takes 15 minutes. I'm in and out. No big deal, right? This guy comes up and he's getting everything ready. He's standing like right over me, and he's like, "Hey man, how was your weekend?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, good weekend." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Because I had a great weekend." So immediately I'm like, "All right." He wants me to ask him.
Where's the exit?
Well, I'm already like strapped to a chair. They're about to stick me with a needle. I really hope this guy.
Good for you.
I really hope this guy doesn't. As we get deeper in the story, I really hope this guy doesn't hear this because he'll probably end up killing me, like legitimately murdering me. So he's like, "Yeah, I had a great weekend." So he's obviously wants me to ask about his weekend. So I was like, "Oh, what did you do this weekend?" And he goes, "Well, Friday, I had this church event that I hosted, and then Saturday." We had a church get together, and then on Sunday we had a big full-on service, and then we had a big event after. I mean, I'm so tired. I'm basically still tired from the weekend. So I'm like, "Oh, that's crazy, man. That sounds like a lot of fun." And he goes, "Yeah, it was a great time. A big turnout." And I was like, "Oh, so like I was wondering, like, so with COVID, like, have less people been coming to the church or whatever?" Like, he goes, "Oh no, we were getting more people because we prohibited restrictions inside the church." And I was like, what do you mean prohibit? Like what? And he goes, "Yeah, you're not allowed to wear masks in the church." So I was like, what the fuck? Like, okay, what?
He
like,
just didn't wear a mask.
Listen. So now I'm thinking about this. I'm like, this fucking guy is breathing in my face. He's wearing a mask at work, but he's breathing into my face. He just spent the last 3 fucking days away from fucking any rules, congregating with all these people in this church. So now I'm feeling uncomfortable, which is whatever, But I was like, it's crazy to me that you're like a medical person, and so I'm like, oh, that's kind of crazy. I don't even know any places that allow you to wear a mask, let alone restrict you from wearing a mask. And he goes, yeah, that's just like our belief system because we believe Jesus is going to protect us. And I was like, well, that's great. You know, that's what I said. I was like, that's great. And then, so he's standing there and I'm trying to think like what to say. Like, I can't get up, you know, I can't just get up and be like, hey, you're making me feel, you know, fucking uncomfortable or whatever. So I end up just sitting there, or whatever. He walks away and I'm like, man, what a fucking weirdo. Right. So he comes back at the end of the process and he's unhooking me or whatever. And I'm talking to him a little bit more. And then he's like, hey man, I'm sorry about, you know, if I freaked you out about the church thing or whatever. He's like, but I just want to let you know, like, everything's going to be okay. And I was like, oh, like, okay, well, thanks for that. And he goes, yeah, because COVID's fake. So I was like, oh, it's fake. Well, I was like, well, actually, which we discussed on the show. I was like, actually, I worked with a guy that he died from it. I don't think his family would think it's fake, you know?
He's like, no, God hated him.
So you're not that far off. So I was like, his family wouldn't think it's fake or whatever. And I was like, you know, I know a lot of people aren't susceptible to it. You know, it's a 1% chance of death, but I mean, it's still a real, you know, it's a disease, man. Anybody can get it or whatever. And he goes, well, no, the real disease, I swear to God, this is what he said. The real disease is all these babies that are being murdered and the news isn't covering it. And I was like, oh, I didn't hear about that. Where now am I kind of laughing because I'm like, where were babies being murdered? And he goes, right here in the United States every day. These abortion clinics, they need to be. So then it's clicking in my brain like, oh, he's like one of those crazy, those people that like protest
Kanye.
outside the abortion clinics. No, not Kanye crazy. Like
Kanye says the same shit.
Do you think Kanye West has ever protested outside an abortion clinic?
No. But he's like the exact words that this dude's saying is the same shit that Kanye says.
I don't think I remember Kanye saying that.
You ever heard him talk about black babies being aborted?
Mm-mm. Not saying that they.
I don't think 2,000 every day or some shit like that.
Yeah, which is whatever. I mean, that might be true, and that's horrible. But I mean, just the way this guy was talking, man. This guy was talking like that was the more pressing issue than
go to Wyoming.
Yeah, I guess so. But he so I was just like laughing about it or whatever, you know, and then he was not finding it amusing that I was laughing about it. And I was like, yeah, man.
Laughing in his face.
Well, no, because the way he said it, he was like, the real story is all these babies being murdered. And I was like, oh yeah, like where? No, he said, and the news isn't covering it. And I was like, oh yeah, like where are these babies being murdered? Like that seems like a news story. That's crazy they're not covering it, like kind of mocking him. And he was like, he's right here in the USA, brother. Like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, dude. He needs to let people do what they want.
That's what I'm saying. I think that, well, not only that, I just think that his set of priorities are a little off, if you know what I'm saying. So,
oh yeah.
On to the next. I just thought that was wild. I'm like, why do I run into these fucking crazy people, man? Like I said, I don't care what you do. You want to go protest outside of an abortion clinic? Be my guest.
Do it.
You know, that's how you want to spend your Thursday afternoon. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Do it. Cheers to you.
See, I look at those people and I think, you know what? Those people are malleable. They're sculptable. You know, you can go over there and start a cult, teach them anything you want, dog, as long as you're convincing enough.
Yeah, you get them to vote for Trump. Which is probably what But that being said, I think that the freedom to be able to do that is the same freedom that they like infringe on other people, though. You know what I mean?
What if everybody just came together and was like, all right, we won't abort babies, but everybody has to use pronouns.
I think their heads would explode.
All right, fair deal.
But yeah, like I think that if you feel like you have the right to do the protest, and you have the same right, they have the same right to do what they're doing. I don't know. It's just crazy to me. It just seems so hypocritical. But on to the next thing. I just thought that guy was.
This guy said he doesn't want to talk about politics. Starts bringing up fucking pro-choice and shit.
Hey, I wasn't the guy. I wasn't the one. I wasn't the one that fucking brought it up. It was brought upon to me. On to a lighter note.
Have you ever ran into like a legit racist?
Oh yeah.
I haven't. Like, I'm trying to think if like, you know, like you meet somebody and then actually I did. This dude at work wasn't racist. But he's like, you know what? I know you're not supposed to talk about this at work. And he's like,
Oh no, that's never a good start. That's
I
never a
thought
good
he was just
to
going
a
to start
sentence.
talking about politics, dude. And he went hard in the paint, dude.
Yeah,
And he was like, I think they should kill all gays. That shit's not right. And I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. It's like, holy shit, dude. I didn't think any of you people existed anymore.
No, I met this this girl. It's actually funny. It's like a Thanksgiving kind of thing. I dated this girl. We weren't even like really dating. We were just kind of like hanging out. And she invited me to
You're at Thanksgiving?
Well, she invited me to Thanksgiving with her family, and I was like, I don't really want to do that, but like whatever. I was like, I'll stop by. And I popped in, and her dad was extremely racist, and
Nice.
kind of was feeling me out, like almost as like a recruitment tool for the KKK. And I was like, yeah, I got a bunch of friends that are black and Spanish, so I don't really.
It always sucks
dive
too.
that
Like
way.
that guy at work, I was like, man, he's a really nice guy, dude. And then he's just, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, that's the other thing. This guy, and I don't want to say too much because I guess you could probably figure it out if you go through my personal stuff. But he is a person of influence in the community that I grew up in. So that's never good.
Yeah. It's always weird. Just like they start saying those crazy views. Like, wow, dude. Holy shit.
Oh, you want to hear something really fucked up? I've never told this story, like, to anyone, I don't think. When I was like, now I'm going to tell it to everyone listening.
Yeah, right.
When I was like, probably like in middle school, probably like 10, 11, 12 years old or whatever, right? I had a buddy who lived in like 2 hours away from where I grew up, and like he moved away or whatever. So my parents sent me there for like a week one time to just stay at their house or whatever. Well, when I get there, he's house sitting a house across the street from his, right? And this family that I was staying with, very wealthy, extremely wealthy people. They lived in a really nice, gated, humongous house neighborhood, right? So he's house sitting this house, huge pool, 2-story house, pretty much everything decked out, right? In the garage, they have like the dude had a brand new Corvette that they're on vacation, who knows where. So we started going because we're nosy, stupid kids, right? We started going through the neighbor's stuff, right? We're like going through their closets and doing, stupid, curious kid stuff, right? And we stumble across
Stealing money, looking for drugs, shit like that. Yeah.
pretty much, yeah. So we stumble across like this like box that this guy has, right? And we're thinking there's gonna be. This is when things got scary because my buddy that I'm with is like, there's probably a gun in there, and he starts like going through it. I'm like, what the fuck? What do you want a gun for? Like what? I just right out like one of those like those fucking commercials back in the day where the guy shoots the other guy on accident because he's too high or whatever. It's like, oh, I'm high, nothing can hurt me, and he puts the shotgun in his mouth and blows his brains out. No, so whatever, opens the box or whatever, and it's like porn from the couple who lived there, like they made together, right? Okay, and like pictures, not videos. But in a couple of the pictures, it's his wife getting like railed out by these black guys, like a group of black guys. Like,
Jesus Christ.
like what is that? I forget what it's called, but like cuckolding or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and he's like, obviously the person that took the pictures is the husband. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe not.
So, I
mean, all options are open at this point.
yeah. But we found that and we like froze. Like we just froze. We're like, what are we even looking at? Like the
Definitely
fucked
no
up thing.
holes in your story.
Yeah. The fucked up thing was like, I hung out with that kid or like with that family multiple times later. And like, we would like, we'd be like outside and that neighbor would be like, hey guys, how you doing? It's like, oh no. Or like the wife, seeing them out. It's like, oh my God.
Like,
it's
what's
so
up, Miss Blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah. How you doing? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But just crazy, man. I like, that's one of those, how people have like traumatic events or whatever, they like black it out. Like they like pretend like it didn't happen or whatever.
Yeah.
So I remember like my friend knew that family really well.
Mhm.
And I remember years later, like bringing it up, like, yeah, you remember when you found that box of like what's her name's like porn or whatever. And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Dude, there's no way you forgot that. There's no way. There's no way. You lived across the street from them. There's no way you would ever forget that. You know what I mean?" And he was just like, "No, I don't remember that." And I'm like, "Buddy,
There's
you
a
don't
buddy
live-
of ours, black guy. He's been on, he go on Tinder or whatever. He's been contacted a couple times to do that.
yeah."
Oh
It's
yeah,
a popular thing, I guess. I don't get
Yeah.
the I don't get the allure there. I don't understand. I don't understand the
for who?
the
The husband. Yeah.
I mean, for our friend, it sounds great.
Everybody
You know what
but
I mean?
the husband sounds
Yeah.
great. Everybody's getting something but him.
You know, it's wild because you know what's wild is he's probably the one that's getting the most out of it.
That is crazy. I mean, what kind of fucked up mind fucker you got to do on your head to want that? I don't even know.
I don't know, man. But you know what's crazy is like all these different you see it in movies and TV shows all the time where like the guy like goes on a date with some hot cougar and then he takes her home and then her husband's there and it's like all set up. Like that happens in all these different things. I don't think that's ever happened in real life.
Oh,
Like-
for sure it has. Definitely.
Where you mistakenly do it. No,
Oh,
there's
there's
plenty of guys that'll just do it. Like if you're like, "Hey, will you fuck my wife?" They'll be like, "All right."
Oh,
You
there's
know what I
definitely
mean?
people that go out and hunt for people to come home and
Yeah.
fuck their wife. For sure. 1,000%. That might be like half the turn on the chase.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe it's something you figure out when you get older. I don't know.
Dude, you
Maybe
remember
it-
that fucking so Mike Busey or whatever, right?
Yeah.
There was that one chick. What was her name? Jenny or something? Some older lady.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And I have a story about that I can't tell on here. But no, not that it was me. Not that it was me. But so what he's referencing, there's this girl. She's a porn star, actually.
Was
And
it
her
girl?
hu-
It's more of a lady.
Yeah, old lady.
Lady of the night.
She also had braces, which is weird. But she was a porn star, and her husband would like hoe her out to people
Yeah.
and like videotape it.
The general public.
Yeah, not like to other porn stars. So like, yeah, that was like their thing. Like their porn thing was like the she'll fuck random dudes.
And just get
It was rough.
covered.
It was rough. So the reason we know about it though is one of our friends who will remain nameless. He put us onto this Snapchat, and what the Snapchat
Yeah.
was is they would just randomly send you like, "Hey, guess what's happening right now?" It'd just be her just blowing a guy like right now.
I wouldn't
right this
say,
second.
I would say a guy was the rarity.
Yeah.
It'd be like 4 dudes.
Yeah. Well, I remember one of them was like, blah 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 hotel in Dallas, be there in 25 minutes, and then the next snap would be just a line of guys outside their hotel room. It's like, how'd this happen so quickly? Like, is it that popular? Is she that popular?
Yeah.
So-
Tinder without the bullshit.
Exactly. Speaking of Mike Busey, he's a crazy guy. Met him a few times. He's a pretty crazy guy. But one of the things that he does do, which is pretty dope, is every Veterans Day, he gets these homeless veterans
Yeah.
blowjobs from porn stars, which is dope. And he just did that last week. I saw some people reposting videos
Getting
of it. and stuff.
blowjobs.
Yeah,
Just sounds
getting
like
blowjobs from porn stars. So pretty cool stuff. That's pretty cool stuff. I saw he does a lot of good stuff like that. He's a lunatic for sure. If
He's
you don't know Mike Busey is
Gary Busey's nephew.
he's not. I don't think he's actually related to Gary Busey. He looks like him, but I don't think he is. I think it's just a name.
I'm pretty sure he is.
I want to say 100% he's not related to him, but he was in some Jackass movies at some point. But the Sausage Castle, it's crazy because that's like a lot of people know about the Sausage Castle, and that's was in the town we grew up in, which is just like a crazy coincidence, but because it's a middle of nowhere. All right, on to the next thing. Have you been keeping up with this Dave Chappelle stuff?
Yeah, he's the nephew of Gary Busey.
I can almost promise you that's not true.
I'm looking at it right now.
What's your basis of that? Wikipedia?
Famous birthdays.
Okay, that seems legit.
I mean, they know a lot about this guy, I
Yeah.
guess. Anyways, what'd you say?
Have you been keeping up with this Dave Chappelle stuff?
What Dave Chappelle stuff?
So well, first of all, he was on Joe Rogan the other day almost on accident.
Yeah, he
It was
just sunned Donnell Rawlings. Like, get
Yeah.
out of the way.
You know what's funny is I don't like that when Donnell Rollins is on that show. I just don't think he's that entertaining. I don't think he's very funny. I think he gets too baked, and then his stuff is weird for me.
He's funny. He's okay. I seen him. I seen Chappelle in Denver a couple of years ago, and he opened for him.
Oh no, I'm not. I think he's a good comedian. I'm talking about just specifically
funny,
on.
He had this bit about like stalking white chicks at Starbucks or some shit. It was fucking funny.
It sounds like a crime, but specifically on Rogan, I just don't like him. I think he's funny. Just that for some reason Rogan. But anyway, so he was on there, and then I don't know if you knew, but the Chappelle Show was on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not anymore. It was taken down.
What?
Yeah. So by request by Dave Chappelle, because so
He's
what
not
happened?
getting paid for it.
Not a penny. Yeah. So and they don't even need his permission. They can just put it out anywhere.
Comedy Central probably owns the rights to it.
Yeah, Viacom. So this is the whole rundown. Viacom owns the rights, and since he signed that contract and he didn't fulfill it, he doesn't get any royalties on it.
Oh.
And they sold it off to a bunch of different places. So like CBS, you can live stream it right now. If you go to HBO Max, it's on HBO Max, and then on Netflix. And then Chappelle came out yesterday and said on his personal Instagram and was like, "Hey, look, if you guys are fans of me, you won't watch this show." He's like, "I'm not telling you to boycott any company. I'm not telling you to boycott like any channel. I'm just telling you specifically to boycott me and don't watch the Chappelle Show because until they pay me. Like they don't give me any money for that. I have no control over where it goes or what happens with it. So please don't watch it." And then the next day, Netflix was like, "You know what? We'll just take it down. Make it easier for everybody." So because they're trying to stay in line with him too. They want to keep him happy because they're
doing those
deal.
fucking stand-up specials.
Exactly.
And they know that motherfucker will walk away.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what, and he even said in the thing, he was saying how he's like, "Look, I'm a difficult dude to deal with. You know, I understand that." And he's like, and I'm not saying I'm in the right here because, you know, I didn't fulfill my contract. I completely understand where they're coming from. But at the same time, you know, it's my work. You know, I came up with it. I created it. You know, we should be able to at least get back to the negotiating table and figure something out. So
yeah, it is shitty because I mean that's some of the best TV ever.
It is. And I already watched it. I binged the entire thing the first night it came out.
Our buddy fucking
they're so short. Well, first of all, they're so short because you forget that it was a half-hour show that was on Comedy Central. They're like 16 minutes, and I was like, I blew through them in like 2 nights.
Yeah, so, right. I didn't even think about that. Right?
Yeah, it's so short. It's literally like three skits, and that's it. And then him talking for a little bit in between. That's the whole show, every episode. So
the day after it came out, our buddy Eddie fucking sent me a text, and I was like, "Oh God, I already know what this is." It's that yellow cake episode. Yeah. Don't drop that shit. Swear to God, you don't drop that shit. And I was talking to Eddie about it. I go, you know what the craziest part about that whole sketch is Dave Chappelle was right about all that shit.
Yeah.
It was all fake. The yellow cake was fake. And it was like, damn, Dave Chappelle was tuned in back then.
Well, you know what else is kind of shitty is what made like the Chappelle Show like so great for like people like me and you is it was at the age of like when DVDs would come out of TV shows, and there were so many special features on those DVDs, many, and you also
extra Charlie Murphy stories,
the best parts. Yeah. So the other thing is you can't like with the Chappelle Show at that time, you couldn't like DVR it. This was before DVR, so it's like if you missed it, and you wouldn't be able to see it again until it came out on DVD. But I remember us watching those hundreds of times, the Charlie Murphy stories, the one where he beats the shit out of the guy, holds him like a bag of laundry. There's another one too. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's another one, another story he tells. Is it about like
Stingley story? And
then there's the one with Stevie Wonder, where he fucks.
No,
it's another Rick James story where he fucks the till his balls were deflated.
Yeah, and everybody gets in the house and he goes, "Nobody has sex with Charlie Murphy." He goes, "I'm telling you, man, it was a smorgasbord." He's like, "It was Asians, whites."
That's a good impression of Charlie Murphy. That's pretty good. You're the impression guy now.
I've watched that shit way too many times.
Yeah,
but yeah, I remember it was must-see viewing. You had to be home. I think it came on like 8:39. You had to be home to watch that. Yep. And then every next day at school or whatever, it's like, "Yo, you see that new Chappelle show, dude?"
No, you know what they do? I remember exactly
that shit
what it was.
Would bring fucking people to their knees nowadays, dude. Fucking, oh my God, it's so racist. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
I mean, that shit was off the chain.
So I remember exactly what it was because it was at 9:30, And then at 10, they did the rerun of the week before, and then 10:30 was South Park on Wednesday nights.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
Yeah, it was on
So-
Wednesdays. Yeah,
So it was 9:30 was the new episode, 10 o'clock was the week before's, and then 10:30 was
that
South
shit
Park.
was so off the chain. Dude. There's so many skits that were just like.
Yeah.
I mean, he opened up. He came out guns blazing.
I was
with
gonna
that
say the
fucking-
first skit.
It was
Not the
like-
first skit, the first episode, but
set the tone. And I heard him. He was explaining on that David Letterman interview about
I
this.
haven't
You
seen
know,
that yet.
the famous sketch that made him quit or whatever.
hmm
It was like this racist fairy or something, and it was like you had one on each shoulder or something. Every time you could say something racist, he was trying to explain it, and it was just like this is fucking nuts.
Too much. Yeah. Well, and part of it, and he's admitted in multiple things inside the actor studio on being on David Letterman and Conan O'Brien. He said before, it's like, look, this was my fault. Like I did this. Like I got to this point where I couldn't take it anymore because it got too real, and that's like part of the problem. He's just like, I'm saying this shit and joke, and then I realized like, all these white kids are gonna fucking repeat this shit, and it's gonna like create like belief in these things. Like people are gonna like. The way he explained it on inside the actor studio, he's like, look, so many times these people would come up to him and say, I'm rich bitch, which is actually the Donnell Rawlings line, but I'm rich bitch, or I'm Rick James
Yeah.
bitch, all these different things. He's like, people just then forget like what the story was about. It's just that I'm Rick James bitch. I'm Rick James bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
now Dave Chappelle is Rick James. You know what I mean? Like it just kept like mutating into this other thing. And then he's like, well, with some of these other skits, like people thought it was funny to say like the N-word, like white people come up to him and saying like skits that had the N-word in it. And it's like, no, that's not.
Yeah, that
that's
family with
insane.
the family with the last name. That's the
Exactly.
N-word.
That's what I'm talking about. So, and he's just like he's like that would happen to him, and then he'd be like, "What am I doing? Like, what am I creating? Where people think this is acceptable?" So
Well, yeah, because the general viewer, they're not looking at it from the comedic perspective and like, this shit's hilarious and this is why it's funny. They latch onto those taglines.
yeah,
Just like the Rick James. I never even thought that part was that funny, dude. There's
no,
so
it's
many
not
other
funny.
parts.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
so many other parts in that sketch that are fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah. So
He gets kicked in the chest. I think I'm bleeding inside my chest. It's off the chain, dude.
yes, that like just all the little one-liners and things that you can repeat.
Yeah.
And that's just from like a couple episodes, and I remember like it'd be so great because you could see like one clip from it and it would just bring back all the the jokes from those different things. So
Chappelle has that same effect that Seinfeld does too. You start talking about all these sketches and shit, and you're like, oh shit, that was the same fucking show.
yeah,
It
exactly.
was the same episode. Just
Yeah,
like
same
Seinfeld,
episode.
you're like, oh shit, that was all in the same episode.
Yeah.
But
I really hope they find a way. I don't know if he'd ever do it again. I think he's specifically said he wouldn't. But if the way the Netflix could just buy it and just be like, look, you can do whatever the fuck
you could
want,
almost
man.
trace the sensitivity of everybody back to when that show ended, dude.
Oh,
It's just-
that's what I was gonna say.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
we
for
need
sure.
Dave Chappelle around.
We need more of that kind of comedy where they push the boundaries and
Yeah.
and let it be accepted, or put it on somewhere where it's you view at your own risk. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to watch it. You know what I mean? So like it doesn't air on TV. You know what I mean? When it's on a
But-
stream platform, it's like, well, if you don't like what it is, then you don't have to watch it.
And
you
like
know?
he said, like, I may not like what you say, but I respect your right to say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's getting lost.
So I was gonna say this is pretty funny, right? So I don't even know if I can repeat this, but I'm playing this game, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, right? And it's you're like a Viking, and it takes place in like I think it's the 1500s.
Some fake time.
Yeah, no, it's like basically a fake time, but it's like the 1500s or something like that.
Game of Thrones time.
Game of Thrones time, yeah. It's Bill Simmons. You ever seen Bill Simmons talk about that? There's like a great compilation of him talking about he's like, when he's always trying to remember what time period Game of Thrones is in. It's like it's fiction, dude. It's not real.
It is loosely based on some medieval shit.
Of course. Anyway, so this was like I think the 1500s or 1400s or something. I don't know, but there was this like when I got the game, I was playing it, and I remember seeing like these different things pop up because specifically I bought the game and was posting about the game and stuff. I would see different things. There's this huge outcrying. People were pissed off because they used, and I didn't click the link, but they used some kind of insensitive slur in the game, right? So I said to myself, all right,
Sensitive slur.
yeah. So I said to myself, all right, if they say the N word, obviously that's bad. Like that shouldn't be in the game,
Can
right?
you insult me with a little more, fucking a better slur?
Sensitivity.
Yeah, it's like,
Well, so no, I'm like, all right, because in my head, I'm like, I wonder what the slur is going to be. Like, it's probably going to be something that I won't even notice because it's probably something so, not non-existent. Like people are freaking out over nothing. That was my thought, right? But then my other thing was like, well, if they say the N word, then that's bad. They shouldn't say the N word. Like that should not be in a fucking video game for kids. You know what I mean? But
what if a black guy says it?
yeah, like I'm sure there are video games that have that.
What if it's a white character but a black guy saying it? Where are we at then? What kind of paradox does that create?
Again, that makes people's heads blow up. But anyway, so I'm like, all right, if I come across the word, let me see if I come across it because I'll probably hear it and it won't even trigger anything with me, right? So I'm playing the game and I totally forgot even I was thinking about that, right? So then yesterday I'm playing it and there's this scene where you're like, it's hard to explain, but this lady is on like a castle wall. She's way high up over you and she's talking to you, like talking down to you, saying how small you are. And then you're going back and forth or whatever. Then you do this mission or whatever, right? But when you come back,
figuratively or literally,
I don't know. When you come back though, right? You finish the mission or whatever and and you accomplish the mission or whatever. Her parting words to you are thank you for your help, you dirty little midget. And I was like, there it is. Now I get it. Because it's not whatever. It's not that bad. But to me, it's completely unnecessary. Yeah. It did not need to be in the game.
That's just a funny word in general. It just sounds funny.
Yeah.
It's just
I also don't understand. I don't know the history behind the word, so I can't really say if it's something that like should or shouldn't be said.
You know what this reminds me of? We're from Kissimmee, Florida. And a lot of the kids are some language that they use down there is jit. If you're a little kid or you're small, what's up, jit? And clearly that's a shortening
of midget.
Of midget.
Yeah. Well, also that's not just a Florida thing. That's
I've never heard that shit anywhere else.
No, I've heard that. That's I think it's just a Southern thing, but I don't believe it's a Florida thing.
I say that shit out here on purpose around work and shit. I'm like, shut up, jit. And I just look at people's faces because they don't ask. I know they don't even know what it means.
Well, also like I said, I don't know the origins of the word or where it came from. Like I said, if people are offended by it, if they're a short person and they're offended by that word, then that's fine, and I get it. But I don't know what the word means. Yeah, look it up. See what it even.
I want to look up. Yeah, what's the origin of that? I love origins of words.
Now what the accepted word is dwarf, right? Which is crazy to me because that sounds so much.
I thought
worse.
the accepted was little person.
That too. Yeah. But I think dwarfism, right, is like the disease. So like they
the second link on here is the M word. Little people of America. It's like, do not correlate that with,
Well, again, like I said, though, it's just
like little people weren't slaves. They just killed them.
Yeah, they just threw them off of the highest rock in the town. We're joking, but I think that really did happen.
Oh, get this.
Uh-oh.
So midget, 3 definitions. Something such as an animal much smaller than usual. Sometimes offensive, a very small person, especially one of you. I love that. Sometimes offensive, depends on who you ask.
True.
And it's also a front engine single seat open wheel racing car, smaller.
Oh yeah, midget racing. Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Dude.
Yeah. Also.
Wait, hold on. I would love if it said all that front engine single seat open wheel racing car, less engine displacement of standard cars, and then it was like for little people.
It's midget racing. It's literally midgets racing. Well, also, if you remember when we played growing up, they've now changed it But remember, Pee Wee football. It was like Pee Wee football was the one league, and the next league up was midget.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think that
Fucking
is
racist.
I don't think that's like that.
Hold on, I gotta find out where this word like even.
Yeah, like why do they start calling people that word? You know. But to kind of what you were saying though, like you're like, oh, it's not on the same par as the N word. Well, who determines that? Like the fact the N word is offensive is because someone created the word a long time ago.
Yeah, where
does
that even come from?
That's what I'm saying. So it's just a word, man. Like I obviously you shouldn't say it because people feel offended by it, and it is a bad origin to the word.
We should play that clip of that kid.
What kid?
In the spelling bee.
Oh yeah, no. Oh my God, I got a story for you with that off air too.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I can tell it. I can tell it. So, the thing Malcolm's talking about is what was the word Nigeria?
Negus.
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 Yeah, and he has to spell the spelling bee.
Negus.
And he asked for the origin.
An African king.
It's like, and you can see, and it's not spelled the way you would think either. But you could tell he's a little nervous spelling the word. But what I was going to tell you is, years ago, I'm in Wing House, right, and the World Cup is on, right,
mm-hmm.
and it's Niger is playing.
Yeah. Oh
right?
God.
Some guy in there.
Broadcaster's nightmare.
Well, some guy in there didn't know that's how he pronounced it. It had to be corrected.
He didn't know.
The reason he brought it up was because he was saying, like, I didn't even know there was a country called N-word like that. And then he kept saying it like, that's so bizarre.
He was saying it like that?
Yes.
Oh, wait, he wasn't saying N-word. He was saying...
No, he was saying the N-word. Like
I know, but you were making me think N-word. Like he started out saying I didn't know there was a country named the N-word, and then was just dropping N-bombs.
He was. That's what I'm saying. He's like, well, if it's a country, why can't you just say it? He's like, N-word this, N-word that. I'm from N-word, and then like someone came up to him like, that's not. It's pronounced Niger.
Jesus.
Yeah.
P.T. Barnum helped popularize the term midget. Canceled. Cancel that motherfucker.
I think he is canceled for other reasons.
Barnum's Midgets and Midget Wrestling.
Ooh.
It doesn't say where it comes from, though. It's fucking retarded.
That's another word. Back to back. These retards won't tell me where the word midget came from. They're probably from Niger.
Jesus Christ.
All right, let's get out of here before we get we're getting into deep water here. Damn, there's something else I was going to say. Oh, speaking of the Niger thing, right? Do you remember on ESPN when it was Nigeria versus Germany in the World Cup?
No.
Okay, so when they played each other, now you have to picture this because it's a visual, and I'm not going to say it, obviously. Look at the scoreboard. Both teams have the first three letters of their country.
Oh.
Germany and Nigeria. And Nigeria was on the left, and Germany was on the right.
Jesus.
So on the top of the screen.
They talk about America, dude. Those soccer games are racist as fuck, dude.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's a big problem.
They throw fucking bananas and shit on the field.
There's a big problem in the Premier League right now where it seems like every fucking game. Well, not right now because there's not fans, but when there is fans like that, all these black players are just getting harassed, man. It's like it's like it should be like criminal, some of the stuff they do. Like the guy got hit with a banana. Like crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah, and it's not just like one person. It'd be like the whole
it's the whole crowd. That's what I'm saying. It's not like one guy heckling him. It's literally they were like, I think it was a guy from Manchester City. They were doing like a song using the N-word. Like what?
What?
Yeah. So, all right, let's get out of here. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. Malcolm, you have any closing thoughts before we get on out?
I don't, but we might try to do a
in-person
pod while I'm in Florida.
So keep an eye out
So,
for that. That probably won't
that'd
come
be
out till next week, though. Well, even if we do record it, Friday or for Saturday. But everybody have a good Thanksgiving. Stay safe. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @scam_podcast. Follow us on Twitch, @scam_podcast. This is a good episode. For not having any content for us to go off of, we just kind of bullshitted through it. I feel like we did a pretty good job. So thank you guys for listening.
Not bad.
We do appreciate everybody. If you stuck around this far, that means you're a true fan of the show. We do appreciate everybody, downloading the show, liking the show, subscribe to our YouTube channel, 2 words, Scam Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to us on Spotify or iTunes. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Hit the bell.
Yeah, do it all. Man.
YouTube numbers. You guys are sad, dude.
Yeah, the YouTube numbers are not good. If you're listening to audio only, just go to YouTube. Go to YouTube, 2 words, Scam Podcast. Subscribe to the channel. We have picked up about 10 subscribers in the last week, so that is good. And we didn't do a picks episode for last week, which I apologize. That's my fault. But we are going to do one. I guess we're going to try to figure out how to do one this week with you being in town. But maybe we'll get a third person to do it. We'll do it all in person on for this weekend's football games. But anyways, let's get out of here. Thank you guys for liking. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving, and we'll see you on the other side. Later.
See you.